Before we start the video, I just want to ask for prayers for Damar Hamlin, his friends, and his family. I'm also going to leave a link in the description. It'll be the pinned comment as well to his foundation, the Chasen M Foundation. It helps kids that were the hardest hit during the pandemic. So if you'd like to support that, go right ahead. Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving my views, thoughts, and opinions, and what's crack-a-lackin'. It's your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. We will be looking at the Goat House's mock draft today, but also you'll find down below just a quick reminder if you want to support Damar Hamlin's charity initiative, then the link is in the description. It's also in the pinned comment. So if you want to do that, then go ahead and do it, my friends. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. I have already watched this beforehand, so if you haven't, I suggest you go ahead and get Go House's opinion on his picks yourself. I'm just going to be giving you my opinion on his opinion, essentially. And that's what I love about these Mock the Mocks, man. You take a look at it from different perspectives. Just open up your mind to different possibilities of where teams could go and how the draft may unfold. And we got some takes here. We got a big trade, first of all. Big trade, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But new number one for the Goat House, for the Houston Texans, it's CJ Stroud. For me, if you ain't new to the channel, you know I love Bryce Young. He's my guy. But CJ Stroud, listen, there's going to be teams that are hung up on, hey, Bryce Young, his size, man. We're not going to risk the biscuit, and I understand that. For me, I'm willing to be like, you know what? I think it's a non-issue for me, but I could get if you can't get past that. CJ Stroud being the next guy up, had a very good game against Georgia, unfortunately in a losing effort, but the guy showed that he can play. He showed that, hey, I don't know why people saying I can't win with my feet, because I could definitely extend the play. I just prefer, to throw the football because I'm a quarterback, and that's kind of what people want to pay me to do. His preference is to throw the football, even when to extend plays. But now there was suddenly this knock that he can't extend plays. It's like, no, he's actually a very mobile guy. Contrary to wild belief, or to popular belief, or to whatever belief out there that may be saying that, he's actually a guy that is quite mobile, that just prefers to be a passer. Now, let's talk about this trade because it's kind of wild. So the Detroit Lions, if I'm not to be mistaken, to move up here from 6, they're giving up both first-round picks. So they're exchanging the 6th pick, and they're giving up their one that comes later in the draft to move up here to get Bryce Young. Now, me and Lions fans have often been in hot debate about should they take a quarterback. And I often would say when they were a little earlier in the draft, I was like, this is a free pick you get from the Rams. Jared Goff, is he really the long-term answer? He's playing well this year, but we've seen during that Super Bowl season with the Rams, his play just kind of like fall off a cliff. So it's like, are you really buying into that? So why not use this pick you got from the trade with the Rams to take a swing on a quarterback and kind of ensure yourself that, okay, maybe not necessarily Goff is the guy, but we're going to have a competition. We're going to have a contingency plan in place, and we'll eventually get off of Goff's contract. You don't have to necessarily get off it right away. So I've kind of been in that camp for a little bit as they've moved further down, as now I guess they have the 6th overall pick. I'm actually going to fact check that real quick as current NFL draft order. I'm going to be pulling this via Tankathon. Where you at? Tankathon, they keep track of the draft order all year, and it is in fact the 6th pick as it stands now. So still, because I often say the Seahawks should also consider a quarterback, and for me it's like, well, when you're in that Will Anderson, Jalen Carter territory, I think it's harder to take a quarterback. Detroit being outside of that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd be willing to, because you have a first round pick. After that, you have another one. You have free agency to gather veteran talent. Just because you use this top pick on a quarterback doesn't mean that your defense is necessarily going to be trash. So let's be honest. Is this the 6th overall pick going to be a guy that flips this defense on its head and makes them good again? I don't think so. It's going to take a bevy of guys, and that's why you got to rely on what you can do with some good veteran talent in free agency. But I do understand it the other way. I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. But in this, the thing is, Lions fans often say, hey, if Bryce Young is available for us, then shoot, yeah, fine, we'll take him. But we don't want anyone else other than Bryce Young. In this scenario, you trade up for Bryce Young. And that's why I kind of find this funny. Because I think Lions fans are going to be like, yeah, no. This isn't what we meant. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Lions should move up at all. Like, yeah, even if it is to get like maybe Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, I think it's better just sitting where you're at in the draft. Maybe see if somehow 2 quarterbacks or a quarterback makes it past the Colts and it's your pick, and maybe whether it's like Stroud or Levis are still available, maybe you could entertain a trade down offer. I think that would be really good too. I'm always for trading down. Trading down's typically always a good move to acquire more picks, to acquire more lottery tickets. So there is that. But I love Bryce Young. He's a great pick. I don't think that for me, I don't think the Lions would do a trade like this. Then Will Anderson going to the Seahawks. I like the idea of them getting more pass rush. They got Boye Mafe, a guy that they're hoping will emerge. Nwosu has had a pretty solid season. But outside of that, they're not really getting pass rush, or at least even a dominant pass rush from anybody. Will Anderson would help provide that, which means Cardinals in this scenario get Jalen Carter, best prospect on the board. Yes, please. I know we've talked about a corner, but this feels far too early for the corner class, honestly. We could talk about tackle, and it kind of feels early for the tackle class. It kind of does. It just that happens to be the area, like, where the Cardinals currently sit. Pass rush seems like to be the best value. But getting Jalen Carter, which is pass rush in a form, especially with J.J. Watt now retiring, it's like, okay, this is actually maybe the best case scenario. So let's go ahead, let's send it. Will Anderson going to the Indianapolis Colts. It kind of feels like a no-brainer that the Colts are going to go with a quarterback inside the top 5. Well, I guess at pick 5. And they'll get their quarterback of the future. No more of these bargain barrel quarterbacks for the Colts. They're going to go ahead and get a new head coach, and let's go ahead and get that head coach's guy. So in this case, it'll be Will Levis. More than likely, one of the 3 top quarterbacks will be there for them, for the Colts. And while I might not be the most in love with Will Levis, I think he has tools worth risking, worth taking a swing of the bat on. Now, the Bears trade down. In this case, they get Broderick Jones, which I find interesting. It looks like Braxton Jones could be your left tackle moving forward. That's awesome. And then you also have, I honestly thought Larry Borum was playing good football before he went down to injury. And then I believe Riley Reef actually held on to the right tackle spot even after Borum was clear to come back. Let me just go confirm that. Yes. Like, I get getting Broderick Jones, and honestly, it kind of feels like Matt Eberflus's cup of tea when it comes to that. Actually, hold up. Yeah, it's been off and on with Larry Borum. Like, I mean, the past couple of weeks, he started week 16 and then he only played in week 17. So I don't know how they feel about him. I think he's been all right this season. When called upon, I think you can rely on him to be a right tackle going forward. And when it really, I think the bane of their existence stems from the center position with Sam Mustipher, who's more of this run blocking type of center than a pass blocking, and actually one of the worst pass blocking centers in the league as of now. But do you really want to grab a center here at this pick? I mean, I'm trying to think how this can work, because you can take Broderick Jones, you could put him at right tackle, because Larry Borom initially, I projected him as a guard in the NFL. You could move him to left guard, and then you can move, to be fair, I don't know what Cody Whitehair's contract looks like, but Cody Whitehair does have experience at center. So it's like you could kind of rework your line to make this work. I really think probably the best play is Myles Murphy, but that's just my opinion. Brian Branch surprisingly going to the top 10 here at 7 for the Falcons, and I feel like they kind of got a similar player in who's the cat that got out of Central Florida. I really liked him, and he started to come like he's been actually fairly solid this season. I want to say it's Grant, but I'm not positive. Here we go. It is, where are you at? Richie Grant. There we go. Yeah, he's been all right. They've kind of moved him away from the slot, and now he's playing more so in the back end at safety. I mean, I guess technically you want to get a guy to play next to him, but I mean, yeah, I mean, Jalen Hawkins is he's fine, but definitely a guy you can upgrade from. And like Brian Branch has been everywhere in the field. Who's currently been lining up in the slot for the Falcons? I guess Richie Grant's had a... Okay, it's been Isaiah Oliver and D. Alford, who actually doesn't have many snaps this year. So they've kind of had a variety of guys going in and out. So like Brian Branch, I don't think it's a bad get. I just really think a lot of the Falcons' problems defensively stems from a lack of pass rush. So I think Myles Murphy would kind of be a prime get here. And then Peter Skoronski going to the Raiders. I really think they'll probably go the veteran route. Maybe this is a sexy landing spot for like a Jimmy G or such for the Raiders, but they do need to improve that offensive line. Dylan Parham has kind of had growing pains since they've kind of cemented him there at left guard this season. Peter Skoronski could come in and he could play the other tackle spot. He could play the other guard spot. It's kind of your pick. So I do like that. I do like shoring up the trenches. I don't know what this. I don't know what they're gonna do with Josh Jacobs, because I really feel like you don't want to give him big money just because. Typically, running back big money deals don't work out. At least just nowadays it don't. But I get also that your offense, well, you really don't have much of an offense right now. All right, let's go ahead to the next set of picks. And okay, here are the actual specifics of the trade. So they give up the 16th, 17th, and a third rounder in 2024. All right, then Myles Murphy going to the Panthers. Panthers find themselves in a terrible spot. You missed the playoffs, and now you're picking 9. You needed a quarterback in this class, so like you really did. Like I think the Panthers are going to be a popular trade-up candidate for the next few months, because they need one. Like what you're going to bring back Sam Darnold for one more go? Like. That sucks. I know he's playing well, but still, like, we saw Sam Darnold go on a nice little spurt at the beginning of last year, and then what happened? Everything imploded. So I guess it kind of is what it is. You're at this point now. So Myles Murphy is a good get to go have him opposite of Brian Branch. Brian Burns. Ha, there we go. Brian Burns has been really their only form and source of pass rush this season. Christian Gonzalez going to the Eagles here. This is a favorite pick of mine because I think it's a very good scheme fit based on what the Eagles have done this year, as they moved more towards keeping with the single high, but moving more towards to man coverage rather than cover 3. Christian Gonzalez kind of fits the bill there. The Tennessee Titans are going with Paris Johnson. They're kind of in a mess. I don't know what you do offensively. Like, I guess you hope Ryan Tannehill comes back next year and things are hunky-dory and they work out. I guess. And you're still going to just try to ride Derrick Henry, which means the offensive line needs to get better. So ultimately, if that's what you're going to settle on, Paris Johnson, probably your guy. You're going to throw him at left tackle. You got his former teammate, Nicholas Petit-Frere, as your hopefully right tackle of the future. Then bring back Nate Davis, who probably been their best offensive lineman this year. Ben Jones, I know you're kind of waiting on, like, he's been a very above average center for like the longest time. Like, he has just been consistent, but you're kind of waiting on him. He's getting older, you're waiting for the regression, and then you have to answer that left guard issue because Aaron Brewer, he ain't good. Then we got the Houston Texans, not the Jackson Smith and the Jigbas. The Texans going with Jackson Smith and Jigba kind of makes sense with them grabbing CJ Stroud. We saw the beautiful music that they made in 2021. Unfortunately, injuries kind of hampered JSN this season. It was a hamstring injury, so obviously things need to be checked out there. Is it like a soft tissue thing and whatnot? But I like the idea of trying to pair up a I'll get you out of here, Gojo. Gojo's like, I'm done. It's too long to the Chiefs pick. He's a Chiefs fan. But I'm a Dolphins fan, so it's like, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how my dog started liking Patrick Mahomes. I think Gojo loves TikTok. I think that's what it is. He just loves Jackson Mahomes. That's his name, right? I don't know. I don't even care. But JSN, you grab him here. You're pairing him up with CJ Stroud. I honestly do believe he's a slot-only guy. Obviously, things need to check out with the hamstring when it comes to the combine. We'll find out more later on. This feels still a bit rich for me. Unless you have a plan, unless you're like, oh, no, because I'm telling you, I strongly believe he is going to be a slot guy 60 to 65% of the time in the NFL. And that's fine. That's okay. You could work with that. Look at Cooper Kupp. But yeah, you have to have a good offensive mind in there to do so. All right, Gojo. Oh, let's get you out. Sorry, it takes me a little longer to move right now. I'm suffering from what I hope is just a pulled hamstring. I don't know. I'll find out. If I'm still walking funny in a couple of weeks, then might have a problem. But we got the Jets going with Brian Brazee, kind of the best available talent on the board, especially with all the offensive tackles off the board. And then Brian Branch is kind of like the next best pick I love for the Jets. So going with best available talent is fine. I guess they do have a decision to make when it comes to Quentin Williams' contract, but he's been so good for him. I don't imagine why you won't bring him back. So interesting pick. Doesn't feel like necessarily a need, but again, when you go to the draft, you're not necessarily drafting for need. You just want really good players on your roster, and this would allow for a very mean rotation there on the defensive line. Michael Mayer going to the Washington Commanders is very interesting. I know Logan Thomas has kind of struggled through injury this year, but I mean, you could go with one of the top corners, whoever is the next corner up, with I guess Keely Ringo, Cam Smith, and Joey Porter. I guess you go for one of those guys. A lot of people are starting to throw Devon Witherspoon's name into there. I'm going to hold off until the Senior Bowl before I get fully behind that hype train. So, just saying. But I still like the idea of corner. I think they need a lot of help at corner. And then Drew Sanders. Ooh, here's an interesting one. Going to the Steelers. Pretty darn high. Devin Bush probably moving on. It is what it is. Sanders is... This past season was his first year at off-ball linebacker since being a senior in high school. If you remember, Alabama tried to move him to being a edge rusher exclusively, and then he goes to Arkansas and starts to play more off-ball linebacker. Was kind of a missed tackle machine, but he was also very good at getting pressure, which is the weird thing because like I always said they should have been blitzing or at least utilizing Devin Bush more as a blitzer. You're grabbing a guy like Drew Sanders, who I think you're going to want to utilize a lot as a blitzer. Like his length allows him to be a problem in coverage, but also the missed tackles scare me a little bit in terms of can he be a guy that at least minimizes catches when they come his way. So interesting. I'll say it's an interesting pick. I'm more of a Trenton Simpson guy. Tyree Wilson going to 16 here, so he kind of falls down the board a little bit, but get a very solid run defender, very versatile player there in terms of his size and where he can line up on the line. So Packers get that. I think that's fine. I feel like a lot of us have kind of been like, screw it, Michael Mayer, he's going. We're just gonna put him in there for the Packers because it's a nice pick, it's sexy, and it sounds about right. All right, on to the next slew of picks being right here. We got Quentin Johnston, first receiver off the board, going to the Chicago Bears. So the Bears make out with the tackle and a wide receiver. I get the concept. I get the idea. Quentin Johnston, big fan of Quentin Johnston. And I don't want to say you're getting a similar talent to like a Chase Claypool. Let me let Gojo back in. He can't decide if he wants to stay or go. Is it because the Chiefs are going to be coming up soon, bud? I'm not letting you back out, Gojo. Golly, Gojo, you're just doing all kinds of problems for me. All right. Now, I say they're really just similar in size. And I know in terms of like the athletic part of that, like Chase Claypool's kind of a freak. But like Quentin Johnston has a similar game to Chase Claypool. So maybe this is a team that wants to maybe attack the outsides with size and maybe stretch the field a bit more vertically. I mean, you're getting a very good possession receiver as well. Quentin Johnston that can create after the catch because he's just so big and hard to bring down. So, all right, fins up, baby. We forfeited our pick. Oh boy. Trent Simpson, another popular pick, actually, the Seattle Seahawks, grabbing a linebacker to go next to Jordan Brooks. He did just get hurt this week, I believe. I don't know what was it specifically, because it feels like an ACL. We might not even see him for a bit. It's an ACL. So I don't even think we'll see him till November, December of next year. That sucks when that stuff happens late in the year. Dang, dude, that really does suck. So, like, Trent Simpson honestly probably makes a lot of sense here if you expect Brooks to be out for a little bit. And then Keely Ringo going here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've been getting questions. Does his performance in the semifinals drop his grade? And, like, he's facing the best receiving core in college football. There have been questions about, like, he's kind of been burnt. And I don't like that term because burnt makes it, like, for me, when someone gets burnt, I'm thinking vertically. And Keely Ringo was more of a guy that he's been given a lot of cushion underneath, and he's been allowing guys to catch on him underneath. That's kind of been his thing this year. At least in terms of his build and his tool, like, he's a very good straight line athlete. He is he's big, much bigger than your normal corner. Like, I think he's gonna go high just because of that. And I say high, I'm thinking at least inside the top 25. Really depends how the rest of this corner class shakes out. But I think I think the Jaguars will be wise to try to target another corner, or target a corner in general in this first round area, and kind of wait and see who falls. Bijan Robinson going to the Bucks. I really don't like this pick. I get it. I really get it that everyone's trying to figure out where Bijan may go, and it's like, oh, you can pair him up with Rachaad White, and it's like the Bucks got bigger worries, bigger concerns. I'd rather make this pick Osiris Torrance. I'd rather make this pick. I think Joey Porter's still on the board. There's a big corner issue right now because I don't think they're going to be able to financially bring back both, maybe even not even one of Jameel Dean or Sean Murphy-Bunting. I just think there's bigger concerns than grabbing a running back. Anton Harrison going to the New England Patriots, left tackle, or tackle in general, because like Trent Brown could play either left or right tackle, but he's also a guy that has been known to be often hurt. They're going to be, I assume, not re-signing Isaiah Wynn, so they're going to need another guy in tow there, and Anton Harrison's kind of the next tier of tackles. Jordan Addison, phenomenal. I like this pick. It's a great pick. They need more they just need more playmakers at receiver. They really do. Daniel Jones has done a solid job this year. I'm not completely sold that he is the answer. He is the franchise quarterback. I'm not sold on that, but he definitely warrants at least another, I would say, a 2-year contract to get a good look at. Like, he definitely warrants another look next year to see if he is a guy that you want to move forward with. And yeah, like, just start getting him pieces to help him out. Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Baltimore Ravens. I don't like the idea of the Ravens going with the running back, and especially if it's not Bijan. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is good, but he's not Bijan good. But like, I can understand if you're gonna mock Bijan here, but like, for me, Jahmyr Gibbs is like, we're gonna talk about this guy in the second round. Let's be honest. There's only one running back I'm willing to bet goes in the first round, and that's going to be Bijan Robinson. So like, the Ravens, they probably could go like receiver, they could probably go corner. Joey Porter's on the board. I think that would be a phenomenal pick there at 24. And then the last slate of picks here, we have Kalijah Cansey. This is the highest I've seen Kalijah Cansey go in a mock draft, and I kind of like it. I don't think he really helps out with what the Chargers struggle with right now, and that's run defense. They're kind of squishy, even despite bringing in guys familiar with Brandon Staley's defensive scheme, guys like Joseph Sebastian Day and Austin Johnson. Kalijah Cansey, I don't think really helps with the run defense. I'd rather probably take Siaki Ika, who can be that big space eater in the middle, but Cansey would give you a nice penetrator. Darnell Wright, also another guy that's probably in this next tier of tackles, and the Bengals could be thinking about tackle. Leo Collins going down again with injury. I think Jonah Williams they have a decision to make on his contract coming up, so it's like, getting a tackle would make a ton of sense for the Bengals. Joey Porter falling all the way to the Minnesota Vikings is just a great pick. It's just a great pick. And then Devin Witherspoon making it to the Cowboys. And by this time, like, I'm always like, in my mocks, there's never a corner I love taking for the Cowboys. In this case, Witherspoon's there. That's phenomenal. I like that. Isaiah Foskey going to the Broncos. I don't know if there's even a better pick you can make here, but it's just like, I feel better about the interior of the or like, I was about to say Osiris Torrance, but I feel good about like what they got going on in the interior. Like, grabbing more pass rush, I guess that's fine. Like, he's a high floor guy, so it's like, it's fine. It's a good pick. Solid. Osiris Torrance going to the Bills, that's absolute like dream scenario for the Bills. Their guard position along with their right tackle position has been terrible. Kayshon Boutte going to the Chiefs. They get a guy that hopefully tests out pretty explosive. There's going to be questions because he had 2 operations on the ankle during the offseason. Didn't necessarily look that explosive this season. So depending on how he tests out, a guy that realistically could fall into day 2 and didn't have like the best season either. And there's going to be some character stuff with him. There potentially might. There's some questions going around right now about Kayshon Boutte. A lot of it's hearsay, but still, that's out there, and as a team, you're gonna have to consider that. And then Jared Verse, can't believe, this is just a great pick by the Eagles. He's not gonna fall this far, but I mean, the draft, anything can happen. I don't see him falling this far. I really think he's gonna be inside the top 15 at this point. He's just gaining more momentum, and I freaking love it. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.